Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca Gretz, and thanks for joining us here tonight for our Ubuntu collaboration session call. And I'm super excited to be here. I'm always super excited to be here because there's so much happening in the Ubuntu planet, across this planet, and especially in the United States. Maybe not especially in the United States, but also in the United States. There's things happening everywhere, and it's incredibly exciting. And I spent the whole day today sort of preparing for this call, trying to make sure everything was in this presentation, and there's not near everything in this presentation that I would like to have in it. So I just wanted to share that with you. And looks like we have a good number of people already here, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. We may have some other people joining us, but right now in the admin panel space, we just have Allison and Jeremy. Tonight, we're going to be speaking about our new member, Melissa, and we'll have Jeremy giving us a demo of the website. Allison will talk about what's happening in the education world. I'll give a little bit of an update about one small town and one small project and one small act. Give a quick update about Ubuntu Innovations, and we'll brag about Michael E.V. Knight, who is our Ubuntu champion this month. And then we'll do our normals, you and Ubuntu, and questions in the next meeting. I'm going to hand the mic back over to Allison, and she'll get us started with calming me down and grounding us and connecting us all with each other. Allison?
Hello there, everyone. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. Oh, yes, it does look like I'm coming through okay. So, yeah, I asked Rebecca if I could open up tonight's meeting with all of you. I don't think I've ever done this part of the meeting in the past, so I really wanted to take the time to connect with you. I've talked to so many of you in the last month. It's been amazing. So I invite you right now to, wherever you are, just sit up nice and tall, and maybe rest your hands on your knees or on your thighs, and just begin to relax your shoulders, maybe even close your eyes, and just breathe. Just connect with where we are right now, what we're about to do and collaborate on in the next hour, and allow yourself, just for a few moments, and maybe hopefully this will lead into the entire meeting, just to turn inward. And allow your breath to deepen a little bit, maybe counting your inhalations to a count of 4 and your exhalations to a count of 5 or 6. Just slowing down, just being present, just connecting with yourself and to this larger group, your Ubuntu family. And as you connect with your breath, perhaps you say silently to yourself something like, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in, and breathing out, I know I'm breathing out, just to help with that support of connecting with the breath. And just do that a couple of times. And as you are breathing, just recognize your presence and recognize that you are attending tonight's Ubuntu USA meeting to serve the greater good. And give yourself a little gratitude for showing up, or a lot of gratitude, actually. Everybody's schedules are extremely busy. It's a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday evening. You may be taking time away from your family. And continue with gratitude, acknowledging that you are here and that you've decided to take the time to be present, or maybe you're actually watching the recording because you see a future where our world operates by the means of contributionism. Continue to breathe in and out a few more cycles, envisioning that world. That world of fairness, that world of equality, that world we desire. Acknowledge that you are being right now, that you are present right now in the great presence, in this great love, in this great beauty, in this great life. And acknowledge that you are on this planet at this very time, at this very moment, and you're attending this very meeting as part of your path to support humanity and Mother Earth in the coming days, weeks, and months and years ahead. And continue to breathe and recognize that and acknowledge it. It's no mistake that you are here right now on this planet at this time and in this meeting. Breathe in and out once again for a few more cycles, continuing to visualize the world in which you desire, with as well as this collective group desires. And now as you see that world, continue to fill your heart with gratitude and love for that which you desire. That emotion, that emotional connection is key. Continue to breathe out, in and out a few more cycles. And just to kind of put that nice bow on things, I just want you to really accept that something wonderful is happening here, that there is great things happening, and see it in your mind's eye and feel it at the cellular level, the appreciation from Mother Earth and all of the benevolent forces at work on our planet and even in the cosmos. Feel that appreciation for the other higher conscious groups out there. We all have this underpinning of higher levels of consciousness and bringing about this world, which we know was what was meant to be and not the world, perhaps, so the things that we're seeing and dealing with in today's world. We understand that there's something definitely wrong and we need to shift that paradigm. As we support Ubuntu and we support these other groups, just take a moment in gratitude and be thankful that they're there working for that greater good. We are linking arms and we're all taking steps in the same direction towards the same goal of liberation, of freedom. Continue to breathe in and out for a few more cycles. Take in a couple more deep inhales and exhales. And if your eyes are closed, you can flutter them open. And just want to say thank you for attending our meeting tonight. We have some great announcements for you. We all have gratitude for everyone here and everyone who is looking to move the planet in the right direction and humanity in the right direction. So thanks for being here tonight. We're going to move on with the agenda. Let's continue to breathe.
So we have a new operations ambassador. Oh, first of all, actually, thank you so much. Listen, that was perfect. Thank you. Thank you. That is really wonderful to be able to connect with all of the conscious people on the planet beyond even the Ubuntu movement who are taking steps and making efforts to change our current paradigm. Thank you. That was fantastic. So I'd like to introduce, let's go ahead actually to her slide, which is the next slide down, I believe. This is Melissa Wren. She's our new operations manager or ambassador. And she came on board about 10, maybe 14 days ago. And is completely making life wonderful for me anyway. She's helping to bring some structure into our movement with the awareness of the kind of structure that we want to be, the kind of organization that we want to be. We want to be part of a new paradigm, not living in the paradigm that's falling away. And she has heart and compassion and vision of that type. And so it's really wonderful having her supporting our US team. She has already accomplished an internal assessment and she's sent all of us forms and documents to help us get on track with ourselves, and all of us are sort of like, what? This is completely different. Anyway, so yes, and then we're going to move on to the demo from Jeremy, which is incredibly exciting. Anyway, welcome Melissa when you get a chance. She's now part of our team. And I'll hand the mic over to Jeremy. Jeremy, I again want to very vocally express my gratitude for all the work you've done on the website, and from the group's perspective, a huge thank you for all of the work you have done and continue to do in service and in contribution to the Ubuntu movement. Thank you.
Very welcome. Happy to actually have that opportunity, and absolutely thrilled to be working with the many people that have helped make that happen as well. So thank you, Rebecca. Okay, let's. I'm going to try and share my screen here. Hopefully this works. Okay, tell me if you see it, because is that coming through okay?
Nothing, your screen's not sharing yet.
You're using the green button to the left there, Jeremy?
Yep. It says I am screen sharing, so let me. All right, let's try this one more time. I may have to start it up again here. I'm just going to share my whole screen here. Let's do this. Is it coming through okay?
Yep, that's better. Starry nights back there. We like that.
That's right. All right, let's go to Ubuntu Planet. Okay. So last month on the collaboration call, I kind of went through, this wasn't published yet, but I kind of gave a teaser demo on what we've been working on, and briefly touched on some of the concepts and features of the new website. And so I just want to briefly kind of go through that, and then focus more on the contribution request, which is really kind of the core functionality of that's going to hopefully help, many projects and communities in the near future. So this new website has the capability of giving each country their own site. I'm just changing over to the USA site. Notice it goes to the Ubuntu Planet USA. We've got slightly different images for the slider images there. So each country will have their own web presence. We just brought up Ireland over the weekend. They now have their new site live, and we're very excited to bring all countries online. That's the goal, right? Okay, let me go over to the contribution area. As you know, we are a organization that's based on contributionism, and we're not really volunteers. Each of us are contributing our time, our talents, our gifts to Ubuntu for the greater good. And this is really kind of the version 1 of a system of contribution requests. Now, at this time, there's not very many requests on there so far, but as more and more requests are generated, I'll be able to release the functionality to be able to search all the contribution requests, and people will be able to search by community, by the project, by sectors that they're interested in, or specific fields that they're interested in. And so right now for the USA contribution requests, we've got about 6 of them published right now, and the idea is to take these requests and officially publish them and give people the opportunity to sign up to contribute. And many of the requests right now are related to the USA core team, but thinking bigger, let's just imagine that we've got many communities online who are hosting many different projects. Well, each one of those projects are going to have very specific things that they need to be completed, which is really going to be the power behind this contribution request system. So your home community, when you go in and you're assigned, or not assigned, but you're in a specific community and you find the project that you want to contribute to, you can then see all the requests associated with that project. So the contribution requests are linked to projects, which are linked to communities, which are then linked to areas, regions, and then countries. So every position that comes open through the Ubuntu Planet USA core team is going to be posted on here as a contribution request. And so anybody that's interested, please visit this site and browse through, because it's going to be continually changing as new opportunities and new projects come online. And I mean, right now it's pretty basic. You just have your list of contribution requests. You can see, you know, it's based on sector. So this one is related to information technology. We've got design and marketing. We've got some management opportunities there. These management opportunities just came online thanks to Melissa. And we've been able to post this that goes through and then describes what it is, the time commitment that's involved in this request, and then the skill that's required. So as you browse through these contribution requests, you can determine if it's a good fit, and if it is, it's simply a matter of clicking Start Contributing, fill out your information, and then the message will be delivered to the project manager and the contact that's tied to that request.
Could I jump in here as well?
Absolutely.
One of the things that you and I talked about over the last couple of days was how the regional coordinators are actually going to be a big part of this contributionism page here, that as we continue to create structure around ourselves, when somebody out in Athens, Ohio has something that they want to put onto this page, they'll get in touch with one of the Ohio coordinators and give them the information, and those coordinators will then be connecting with, either have the ability to enter that information themselves or connect with somebody who does have the ability to do that. But this part of the database I see as being one of the mainly used parts of the website as we go forward and get more and more projects online and more people connecting with how they can contribute. I'm super excited about this. Well, I'm super excited about the whole site, but this particular part of the website is going to make this very, very tangible for anybody who wants to contribute in the United States, or maybe even globally, I would expect.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting, is you're exactly right. And the appropriate people will have the permission and to go in and generate new projects, new contribution requests, and you bring up regional coordinators. We've now started to populate on the site, thanks to you, Rebecca. The more and more regional coordinators are being assigned to their areas, and so this is a process that's currently evolving, and the logistics of being able for these regional coordinators to work with local communities to start these projects and make sure that they have the support that they need, and make sure that those contribution requests are on there.
Yeah, and Christine asked about if it's possible to get an email when the request is submitted, and that is what's going to happen, Christine. And I'll let Jeremy talk about that more, but that is the whole idea. And so anyway, go ahead.
That's exactly right. So to answer your question, Christine, when, let's say I'm browsing around on here and I find an area that I'm interested in, I want to help with the global website and be a web designer. So all I have to do is click Learn More. And then all I need to do is click Start Contributing and fill out this information. Right now, again, this is version 1. The features and enhancements are just going to continue to get better and better. But right now, as soon as I fill this out and hit Send Message, it's going to go to that project manager that contribution request is already assigned to. And it can go to one or more people. It doesn't have to be just one person. I've got groups set up to where, if it makes sense for 3 or 4 regional coordinators to receive those messages, or project managers or whoever, we can make that happen.
And on this topic in general, I invite anybody who has ideas of how we can streamline and become more efficient to please send me an email at r.gretz@ubuntuplanetusa.com, because I'm aware, maybe Jeremy doesn't actually have this problem, but I'm aware of how limited my mental scope is, that I sort of have an idea of how it should be, and then I get stuck in that rut. And it's so beneficial to have other perspectives and other ideas. And so I really invite and encourage anybody who would like to, or who has ideas that they think are beneficial and could support us, to share those. And I'm not guaranteeing that they'll get implemented, but I for one really appreciate and acknowledge the benefits of shared communication and shared ideas.
Absolutely, and we strongly encourage and welcome that. And I just want to show you real quick on our core team page, and this works on all country sites now. You can communicate and get a hold of any core team member simply by clicking on their picture and filling out this form, and then Rebecca would get a direct message from the website. So just FYI.
Yeah, thanks. That's fantastic.
Okay, I think that's, unless you wanted me to cover something else, I think that's.
Well, because this is one of my passions, could you go to the donation, the new donation page?
Yes. So this is on the USA donation page.
So what I'm so excited about with this is that, so before, when you wanted to make a donation to the USA team or movement, you just got a pop-up from PayPal. And Jeremy put into an actual page where you can make a one-time donation, but you can also set it up to make a $1, $2, $3, whatever, and all the way up to $500 monthly if you are one of those people who has more money than ideas of how to spend it. I can tell you how to spend it. Spend it here. So anyway, so I am super excited about this. Thank you for making that happen, because when I tried to make my monthly donation and couldn't, I was very frustrated. So
yep,
thank you.
You're very welcome. You bet.
Okay, Allison, I think that we're probably ready to go to the next slide. And I'm not sure if Star's not here in the admin room, and I know that we had a meeting yesterday, the core team, and her update from there was basically that she is looking into many alternative, and I don't even think she uses the word alternative, because one of the drawbacks to the word alternative is that it makes you think that it's not real, and the natural remedies and healthcare options are most of the time much more beneficial and much healthier than what we can get at the typical doctor visit. So in any case, she is researching those natural options, and she's hoping that by next month she'll have the circle re-engaged and have connected with the people that had been running that. Sylvia Bird had been the healthcare coordinator or ambassador before, and Star is reaching out to her. And so the healthcare update is that she's still working on it, and she'll have a bigger update by next month. And what's next? Allison, good. I get to hand it over to you. I like it when I get to hand it over to you.
Yeah, well, Will Stanton is in the audience with us tonight, and he is who I had on our agenda for this evening for the education update. Will, I tried to make you a give you a speaker privileges. I'm not sure if you can tell me through the chat if that seemed to work out okay. Just so you all know, Will is broadcasting from Australia. He is a resident there, and I believe it's like 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday there. So I'm wondering, I did have to have the tech team help me invite Will, and I'm wondering if there's something bigger here than maybe we anticipated. but I don't want to miss out on an opportunity for him to present his 6-dimension model of education, because it's something that resonated with myself, as well as England's, the UK's Ubuntu team, and I wanted him to share what his curriculum is all about and the empowerment of children. So, Will, I don't know if you can give me some kind of if you want to try your microphone to see if it works. I did try to make him a speaker, and it looks like you should have that privilege. So if you want to speak through the microphone and see if that works. I'm thinking it's not. So what I'll do is, unfortunately, Will, I'm not missing this opportunity. So if you're okay with it, you and I will work on this and perhaps come back in April. But one of the things that I feel comfortable in sharing with you is that Will is he is looking for a few different curriculum developers or subject matter experts. And this is his email address, by the way, willstanton60@gmail.com. We'll have him back next month for an overview of the 6-dimension model. He and I will do a practice session prior to coming in. So he has a lot of the curriculum already created. Again, this is about working with students, building their empowerment, giving them control over their learning. So it really feels, if any of you are familiar with the unschooling model, it has a lot of qualities of unschooling, but this is done within the shell of a brick and mortar building. So there are a couple of areas where he's looking for subject matter experts. I'm going to put, they're up on the screen now, and I will put his email address in the chat box for all of you, or maybe Will, you can do that for me as I'm speaking. I'm probably going to help him with the English as a second language piece. Dr. Lenny, I kind of have my eyes on you for the science beyond the physical, but I know I sent you an email about it, but I haven't gotten to talk to you about it specifically yet. And so if any of these areas you have a passion about, and especially through K through 12, in the K through 12 arena, please be in touch with either myself and Bartholomew, by all means. I'm seeing that you might be resonating with the music. We can get together and see exactly what Will is looking at pulling from the brains of individuals who have backgrounds in these areas, and we can look to see how to make it manageable. He does have a Facebook page, and he can be reached that way. But I'll put our email addresses in here. If any of, and these will also come out in the notes. Maybe you have a friend or someone that is great with geography or social and emotional learning that also resonates with Ubuntu and might want to play a role in this area. We'd be happy to set up a meeting with Will and the Ubuntu team. And what Will would like to do is, create something that is usable for multiple countries. And he's been following Ubuntu for 2 years. And that's all I'm going to say about Will, because I'm going to let him talk about it next month. So sorry, Will, that it didn't work out, but we'll get you on next month. And I'll put the email addresses in the chat, like I mentioned. Okay, back to you, Rebecca.
Great. Okay. So, Susan is our events ambassador, and she and Brandon and Ed Becknell are all working on an Ubuntu summit for this fall sometime. We don't have the actual dates yet, but she is working with a music promoter, getting the music act set up. And once that piece is in place, then we can get down to real detail on when the dates are going to be. And hang on, I actually have something to share about that. Let's see if I can find it. So much happening, I have to tell you. It's incredibly exciting and overwhelming at the same time. Let's see, where are you? There you go. So, no, not this one. Let's see. Yeah, so Susan Drew Goodman met with the Concert East Jerry Bacall about inviting conscious musical acts to the Ubuntu Summit. which will be happening on one weekend during September of this year. We are very grateful, she mentions here, and it's true, we're very grateful for Jerry's participation. So I'm not really sure. Susan, if you're here, maybe you can write something in the chat about this. We're asking to circle to facilitate and leaders, circle facilitators and leaders to consider who might be on the panel. So one of the concepts that she has, and I don't know if we talked about it last month, but one of the concepts that we have for the Ubuntu Planet Day and possibly other parts of the Ubuntu Summit is to have panels of speakers. So if you can think of, if you have ideas of who might be on those panels, and not only connected with science and technology, but for instance, health and education and all of the things that we have ambassadors for, people who might be able to speak to an Ubuntu perspective on those subjects at this event would be great. So Michael is going to be touring this spring here in the United States in spring and early summer up into Canada, and I have a contact request out to Neil Garr, who is the event manager for this particular tour. I believe that he arrives here, and I'm sorry, I don't have all of this stuff on the top of my head. So, but it is on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, his actual dates will be there. And as that information comes back to us at Ubuntu USA, we will be posting it on Facebook and getting the actual dates and the venues. I know that the most recent communication with Neil was that almost all of the venues are booked, so they're going to happen. And I know that Ananda who is one of the regional coordinators, is in Eugene, and he's going to be coming to Eugene. She's super excited about that, and her whole team is working very hard to make everything go really smoothly up there. But so if you know of people who might be interested in going to see Michael at any of the venues that he's going to be at this spring and summer, get them in touch with, well, just watch the Facebook page, I guess. So, all right, Susan says Ubuntu Summit will be weekend in September. Okay. All right. So, I think that's probably, did I hit everything you needed to hit, Susan? Hopefully so. All right. And Branson is doing incredible work. He has started getting some help from other people who want to be doing social media. I think that probably we could put one of the contributor roles that could be filled is help for Branson. He does an enormous amount of, it takes a lot of effort to keep everybody informed of what's happening here. So if you are interested in supporting Branson and all of the social media efforts that are taking place, contact him. His email's there on the slide, as well as you can now click on his picture under the core team and get directly to him. So, okay. Okay, so one thing that we have been watching is the evolution of an Ubuntu planet, an Ubuntu country, and Ubuntu one small town, one small project, one small act, and each thing, the larger ones are all, of course, dependent on the smaller ones. And probably I should turn this slide, the other way around and start with one small act. But we're going to start with one small town. Walsenburg, Colorado continues to be on the universe's radar. I can't tell you the amount of attention that small town is getting, not only because of Frank and the other nonprofits that are down there, but I just received emails from some folks who live down in Walsenburg who are not familiar with Frank and Brian, and they are reaching out to Ubuntu, wanting to reimagine their town and have us possibly collaborate with them. So even though that's not what we would call an official one small town, because it hasn't been sort of gone through the vetting process that exists through the Ubuntu Innovations, that town is just doing it. They're going to town, and I'm super excited. I think all of us here at Ubuntu USA are super excited to be participating and supporting them wherever possible. They will be one of the projects on the contribution page where people who have time and wherewithal to go and help there, they will have projects that will be on that page. So keep an eye open for that if you are able to go and support there. I'm just putting this in here. I don't have that much information about Frontenac, Canada. Actually, while I bring up that they have a small town that's in the process of getting vetted through Ubuntu Innovations and whatnot. The Canadian team will be having their monthly calls right after hours, basically at 8:30 Eastern time. So if you want to find out what's happening in Canada, I think that I saw Carmen here. I don't know if she's still here, but if you're still here, Carmen, why don't you let everybody know how to connect to your call, which would be great. So in Frontenac, the mayor and city council have already been approached. A presentation was given in February. They were super excited about what David Craig, who is one of their regional coordinators up there, he is very excited to be doing Earthship homes up there, and the town is super excited about that because they have a need for low-cost, sustainable housing, and so the details are getting worked out with Ubuntu Innovations and Ubuntu Canada, and that's a project that's in the works. I know there are things happening in Brazil as well, but I don't have an update on that because everybody's busy and they haven't gotten back to me. There are things happening in Ireland. I know that they have a particular project, a farm in Tipperary, Ireland. I know that Brandon, our one small town project manager, is also working on an indoor farming project down in Dallas. And Green Fire Center was before and continues to be an Ubuntu-centered organization, and they also are absolutely doing their part. And I'm hoping that they will also be a project that will be on the contributors page. I want to I have been in contact with the Bolton Valley folks, and I don't have a sufficient update yet, but they are coming back into our radar and our hoping that we can create some contribution opportunities from up there also. So keep your ears open and your eyes on that contribution page, and look for the Bolton Valley stuff. And then I want to share Trygve, who is in the Minnesota group, and actually we have a new coordinator up there, Kathy Ricosi. I hope I'm saying her name right. So we'll be hearing more about them, but the Minnesota group is very, very active and has been very active, but they haven't been connecting in back with the U.S. National team very much, but that's shifted, and which is very exciting. So Trygve sent an email with a whole bunch of things that they've been doing up there. They just had their one of their most recent meetings was yesterday, and what I wanted to share about, he gave me a whole bunch of things that they've been doing, which is great. One of them is Tank, who I think I saw here, did a 5 something things. What did you do, Tank? Anyway, check out the the Minnesota group. They're doing great things. If you are on the connector, the Ubuntu connector, you can go to their circle. They're really very active. But one of the things that I for sure wanted to share about what Trigby sent was a story of, and this goes under the One Small Act, a story of a new member that they have in their group, and their whole yard, the whole front yard, their whole yard is set up as garden space, and they're growing, their food growing space, and they are growing all of their food. They don't go to the grocery store. I don't know if they have chickens and things like that, or if they eat meat or at all. But in any case, they don't go to the grocery store anymore. They provide all of their own food in their own yard, from their own yard, and just wanted to share that is a way, a one small act that can be changing our reality. That particular family is also sharing, seed sharing and food sharing, and just creating a community right out of their own front yard. So one small act can be very simple, something that you would be doing for yourself anyway, and you just share it out from there. Okay. I think that's probably enough on one small act. Okay, so Ubuntu Innovations. Brandon is heading up this Ubuntu Innovations, which is the financial end, or the investors side of Ubuntu Planet. And if you are an investor, if you know of people who would like to be investing in Ubuntu-like projects, Brandon is the one to be speaking with, because there are forms and processes that want to be probably set up. If you're an investor, you want to be sure that your money is going to be coming back to you. You want to have a contract or an agreement set up, and that all of that stuff currently is going through Brandon. I don't know if that'll always be the case, but as we all get more familiar with the steps to creating an Ubuntu investment opportunity in our own small town or our own small project, we'll be able to do that ourselves. But for right now, that's going through Brandon, so reach out to him. And the Ubuntu Summit we've already spoken about. Okay. So I don't know, are you able to, so there's a recording that I did with Michael E.V. Knight. Michael E.V. Knight is our Ubuntu champion for this month, and he is someone who is as about as champion as one can get. Michael E.V. Knight put me in touch with Frank, and I really had wanted to have Michael last month, but he had a cold and he didn't want to be on the call with a cold. And this month he's not in a place where he can actually connect. He doesn't have internet connection or with a mic. He doesn't have internet connection with a mic. So we pre-recorded this, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to listen to it. But is that possible, Allison?
Well, let me, I don't know how to broadcast it through, but let me try one thing really quick. And if it sounds lousy, then we'll just make sure the copy of the notes has the recording in it. How does that sound? Let me see.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Eduardo, I don't believe that there is a page for Ubuntu Innovations.
Okay, I'm gonna try to play this now. So if,
Great. Okay.
we'll hop off the mic. Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Oops.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing? Doing great. Why don't we start with this? Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got involved with Ubuntu contributions?
I'll have to go back about 7 years. I was going about my life, real estate investor, small businesses, and two of my friends, one of them very successful and another friend who's also successful, within a 2-week period, both sent me a link saying, this isn't for me, but I think you would like it. And it was Zeitgeist Addendum. I said, well, if these guys are saying it, I'm going to watch it. The name's a little weird, but I'll watch it. And I'm watching it, and I'm saying, these guys are kidding me, right? A no-money world? How do you pay your bills in a no-money world? And I had all those same mental problems everyone has thinking about a no-money world. But by the end of the video, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, if I borrow 100 grand for a house, I have to pay back 250 grand over 30 years, but they only put 100,000 into the bowl. Oh my God, these guys are telling the truth. This whole thing's a scam. And I consider myself a street smart guy. You don't pull a scam over me on money. What they did, they made money itself the scam. Like I tell people, we're in this box. Like you listen to these motivational boxes and making money boxes. It's all based in the money-making box. Think different, expand your thinking, but always within the money box. They never mention a no-money world. Then about 3 years ago, somebody else said, you sound a lot like Michael Tellinger. He's saying the same things you're saying, because I was talking about a hybrid money, no money sharing lifestyle, using as little money as possible, selling some things while we're in the money system to outside people who are outside the group, very similar to Ubuntu. So I joined Ubuntu and I started promoting that too. I liked that they had all this information already out there. You had all these videos, so I didn't have to do it. But use everything we have, use it freely, share it. So that's what I did.
Fantastic. That's what you continue to do. You
Do it every day, yeah. I'll have some people tell me, oh, this is utopian, sounds great, but it'll never happen. Well, I could say I'm going to open a restaurant. I want to open a restaurant, but I do nothing to open that restaurant. I save no money for it. I don't research restaurants. I don't research materials. Of course it's not going to happen. But if I start saving money, if I'm working 2 jobs, that's how I started in real estate. I worked 3 jobs, saved money, enough for a down payment to buy a house. Because that's what I wanted. That was my goal, buy a house. You do what it takes, legally and morally, to buy the house. You only know what you know. When I first watched Zeitgeist Addendum, they said we needed cities. So at that point, that's all I know. Okay, we need a city to get to a resource-based economy. Then a couple, watching a video of Jock's in, and Jock says, resource-based economy is not the city or the technology. It's a mindset change. Right. And as soon as he said that, I said, oh my God, I got the transition plan. What we're going to do is work together and share and spend as little money as possible, and we transition over to a no-money world.
I don't know that I have said really clearly enough how impressed I am with what you're doing and how appreciative I am of what you do. And I know that just about anybody who enters into the Ubuntu world, and certainly Ubuntu Planet Connector, they meet you first. And that is incredibly powerful work that you're doing there.
Some people even think that I'm Michael Tellinger because I promote him so much. Funny thing is, I've only spoken to Michael for 5 minutes in Vermont last October when I went up there. Other than that, I've never spoken to him, messaged with him.
Well, you're doing good work for the movement, and he's doing good work for the movement. This really is for all of us, and it's not Michael Tellinger's, and it's not Michael Knight's, and it's not Rebecca Gretz's, it's ours. And all of us who are working to make it happen. And because we know that there's a better way to be living on this planet.
Right, instead of being an economic slave, we can all be free. That's where that $1 a month comes in.
Exactly.
I mean, we could be flying. Thanks, $1 a month and bring 1 person on board. That's it. If that's all you can do, Ubuntu will grow so quickly. We'll have 1 million people in 9 months. It's amazing.
And it will change the world. Change the world in 9 months. That's
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you, Michael. And thanks for being our champion. And keep it up.
I will. Unless something happens to me physically, I'll be at this every day the rest of my life. Hopefully, I don't have to be.
Hopefully, you'll be able to be out there gardening or doing one of those.
In Colorado. All right, Rebecca. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Allison. Great. So find Michael on Facebook. He's always on the connector. So if you aren't part of the connector, I encourage you to go become part of the Ubuntu Planet Connector. You can get there from the website at the top right of our website. There's a join, or if you're already a member, you can just log in from right there. And he has an Ubuntu YouTube channel, peopledoeverything.com. So check out his YouTubes there. Many of them exist other places on YouTube as well, but he's a nice little aggregator of perfect videos for Ubuntu. So, okay. Yay, now we get to go back to what Jeremy was talking about that he just put in there, thanks to Melissa. We have these 4 team members needed. A contributor coordinator, that is a person, I think we might have used to call that a volunteer coordinator, but we aren't volunteers, we're contributors. So the contributor coordinator, a legal ambassador or legal advisor. We definitely need some help in that area, especially as we continue to grow. Financial ambassador is still needed. That role is apparently scary because people come and go out of it. So if you aren't afraid of the financial piece of Ubuntu planet, then please come help us. And then a nonprofit coordinator, and that actually is somebody that we really need as soon as possible. We need to get officially our nonprofit status solidified. So if you have any of those skill sets or know of anybody who is passionate about the concepts of Ubuntu and has those skill sets, send them to the contributor page and get them signed up. So, alrighty. You and Ubuntu. So here I shared the donate page again because I wasn't sure if we were going to get to see it, but there it is. If you want to be able to contribute, if you would like to contribute monthly, that's the page to go to. You can also purchase 5 or more books, and you get 33% or more off, depending on the level of books that you choose to buy. You can sell them, you can give them away, you can do whatever. That's a great way, though, to share the Ubuntu concepts. Starting a meetup, an Ubuntu meetup in your area is a fantastic way to spread the word. Meetup is its own network of people already, and so when you start a meetup in your local area, Meetup sends out an invitation basically to everybody in your area about the meetup that you're doing. We do have, under the resources on the website, materials available for meetups or really just for handing out anyway. And we are working on the regional coordinators are working, and the media group too, actually, are working on new materials all the time. Follow us on Facebook, comment, participate. Spread the message whenever you're given the opportunity, which I'm sure you're all doing already, and connect to your own passions and then offer contributions out of that to others. Donate and learn more at our new website. So how we're doing on questions? Have we answered most of them?
I think we're caught up on questions, but if I've missed one, go ahead and let us know. I think a lot of folks are answering questions for other people, and they're doing an awesome job. So our team on the ground, we're all answering questions. Yeah. But if we missed anything, go ahead and type it in.
That's great. So, and I just want to acknowledge all of the people who are able to listen and do the chat. I cannot do that, and I'm sorry. I apologize for not connecting with you guys. I just can't do it. I can't focus and chat at the same time. So, are there one-page posters available to put up on bulletin boards? You know, I think that there are, but I'll have to verify where they are. But I have, there are people who have been talking about them. So I will, I'll make sure that that's in the notes, Tom, when we send out the recording to this. I'll make sure that we have the answer to that when we send this out. Yes, we'd like to see a flyer page on the website. Yeah, we do have flyers under the resources. They're just not as sophisticated and up-to-date as we'd like. So that is something that is being worked on, and I invite you to continue to go and look on the resources tab for what's changed over from the last time you were there. So, okay, what's next? I think we're just about there, aren't we? Thank you, Allison. Okay, so we'll continue to always have the next meeting slide, but it's always on the second Sunday of every month, and the second Sunday this in April is the 9th. And once you've registered for one webinar, you will automatically get invited to all the rest. So invite people to register, and then they'll be going from there. Let's see. And then how to contact us. I think that Jeremy went through that. You can contact any of the core team members just by clicking on their pictures, and that might end up being true for the regional coordinators as we get them in place as well. So is that true, Jeremy?
It is. That's true. It works the same with regional coordinators.
Great. And just a reminder that will be, as we continue to fit into our structure, that will be the primary way to connect with us is through the regional coordinators initially. And just because they will be the ones who know what's going on in your area. So if you are from Minnesota and you want to know what's happening with Ubuntu, connecting with the Minnesota coordinators is going to be the way to find out what's really happening. Of course, Facebook and our website. So there were a couple more questions that went flying by. Did those get answered too?
I believe so. And I do see a question from Bartholomew, and I know, Bartholomew, you are a state coordinator or a regional coordinator.
You are, and Bartholomew, sorry, may I interrupt for just a minute?
Go for it.
I have been sending out emails and lots of communications, and if you're not getting them, contact me so that I know what the correct email for you is, because I haven't heard from you, and so absolutely, please reach out to me like as soon as now. So, okay, great. And if anybody else who thinks that they were signed up as a coordinator and you haven't been hearing from me, contact me, because there are several people that I haven't heard from ever since I've been doing this. So I want to hear from you. There's very exciting things. Your roles are expanding and becoming very important. So if you want to continue in that role, you get in touch with me. So there we go. Good.
One other question, Rebecca, how long does the Indiegogo fundraiser continue to?
That's a great question. Brandon would know, but I think that it goes we're in March, so I think that it's ending sometime pretty soon. We're talking about the One Small Town campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that campaign, I think, ended up not being as successful as we had as the thoughts were that it would be, and so I think that that's why the focus started shifting from the campaign of it to the Ubuntu Innovations. My understanding is that we've raised something on the order of I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000. Obviously, Brandon who is the project manager, is the one who knows the most about what's happening with that. Next month, we will have a full update on the funds and how they're being used, and make sure that there's transparency there. One thing that we absolutely want to be clear on is that the monies that come into Ubuntu USA are being used for Ubuntu USA projects, and have an accountability and a transparency around that, your money. It's your money, it's my money, and I know that I'm adamant about wanting to know how is that being used, and not feeling like it's just like disappearing into some sort of vacuum someplace. So okay.
All right, I think we nailed it. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending the last hour with us. I hope you're excited about the momentum as we are. You can see that there's a lot of people who across the United States are completely active in Ubuntu at all different levels. Your contribution or being a contributor, everyone looks completely different as far as what they're doing to keep the momentum going. And whether it's awareness, perhaps it's a skill set, perhaps it's monetary donation, perhaps it's inviting someone to the meeting and just letting them know that this exists And yes, it's happening. So, you know, if you ever wonder about what's going on, we try to do we're pretty consistent with the monthly meetings. We're trying to get a newsletter out at least once a month. We're going to be highlighting we're going to have like hopefully some small newsletters in between the monthly newsletter. We interviewed Frank about Walsenburg, Colorado. Some key questions, which will get our thoughts and our minds whirling around. What does it take to get a community started? What were some of the surprises? What were some of the maybe not so pleasant moments, you know? And I think since no one has really done this model before, having that information and documenting it is going to be key for the next small town that stands up. So my eyeballs are on Trigvi and Tank to hear about what's happening in Minnesota. So I'll be coming to their neck of the woods next to hear about what's happening there. Now they're in a city, so they're I know that they're anticipating like, how does this work when you're in the middle of a city? So you know, I think we just expand ourselves and you know, as they're doing, and it's not going to look the same anywhere likely. But if we all have the same philosophy and understanding of the structure of the time and the contribution, I think that's really some of the key pieces here. So, and I did see a couple comments about donations, question mark, money, question marks. You know, one of the things that Michael had said when he was in Vermont last September was that we are going to need money to stand up some of these communities and get some of the technology in place. Unfortunately, we have to play by the rules of the way things work today. But that doesn't mean that we're always going to need money. Our goal is to get off of the money, but we will need you know, people's skill set, you know, resources, tools, you know, wood, screws, you know, drywall, and that's going to take money. So, you know, don't be surprised when you hear that word being used in our meetings. It's just it's just temporary. We're moving in a new direction. So. Thanks everyone again. Sorry I went down that tangent. I wasn't really expecting to do that. So the next meeting is actually April the 9th. April 9th is our next meeting. So have a great night, everyone. We will get an updated list of Michael's tour dates and locations for when he's here on the West Coast in a month or two, and we'll add that to the notes, and we'll get the recording and these slides to you in the next 24 hours. So great seeing you, air quotes seeing you, and we'll see you again next month. Until then, take care.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, month.